South Florida showdown.
Not a single bill she's passed has ever become law. I'm proud of the fact we saved millions of jobs.
Between the candidates for U.S. Senate. Young voter.
Young people make such an impact.
Expected to play a larger than ever role in next month's midterms. Plus home openers in the NBA and NHL tonight. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Nicole Castañeda.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Wednesday, October 19th of 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
South Florida is playing host to a Senate showdown in one of the hottest races in this year's midterm election. The campaigns of both Val Demings and Marco Rubio are claiming to be at least a partial victory this morning.
The network's Aquiles Barreto was at last night's debate on the campus of Palm Beach State College.
The pressure's on and the stage is set as we approach Election Day. Candidates Marco Rubio and Val Demings face off in the Before You Vote debate hosted right here in the Palm Beach State College Lake Worth campus. The nominees traded quick jabs in this fast-paced, fiery face-off. Rubio's experience on the debate stage came off screen as he leaned into his legislative achievements with a quick and assertive tone.
Not a single bill she's passed has ever become law. I'm proud of the fact we saved millions of jobs. I'm proud of the fact we did it in a bipartisan way.
While Demings' softer, more human approach cast his opponent as a standard politician who lies and cheats to win.
I think there was a time when you did not lie in order to win. I don't know what happened to you.
Although Rubio is currently leading in the polls by claiming he supports no exceptions for abortion, the Congresswoman hopes to persuade young voters to support her campaign.
You have been clear that you support no exceptions, even including rape and incest.
Rubio doubled down on his pro-life stand. However, he alleges he does in fact support exceptions.
Every bill I've ever sponsored on abortion, every bill I've ever voted for, has exceptions.
Abortion wasn't the only hot issue on stage. The temperature rose when the topic of guns was brought up. Rubio defended the Second Amendment.
The truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, that Americans have a Second Amendment right to protect themselves.
While Demings slammed the senator.
How long will you watch people being gunned down in first grade, fourth grade, high school, college, church, synagogue, a grocery store, a movie theater, a mall, and a nightclub,
Congresswoman,
and do nothing?
Following the debate, supporters of both Rubio and Demings said they're satisfied with how both of their candidates performed.
I personally think that Senator Rubio was genuine. I think his convictions were easy to understand.
she came out fighting back. She punched back when he punched, and she was not going to be pushed to the side.
Early voting starts next week, so make sure you hit the polls and cast your votes. In Palm Beach, reporting for the South Florida Media Network, I'm Aquiles Barreto.
Republicans and Democrats alike are now paying more attention than ever to the youth vote. Reporter Lydia Delgado from our DC Bureau caught up with a group focused on getting young people registered.
Headcount is hosting a voter registration drive at the sports and concert venue, Capital One Arena, to get more young people to the polls ahead of midterm elections just 3 weeks away.
Count is an organization that started by registering voters at concerts. So we've been on tour with Lizzo, Jack Harlow, Ariana Grande, lots of other major artists, and now we're expanding our partnership to Monumental Sports so that we're registering voters at sports games. So right now we're really focused on getting kind of the youth Gen Z vote out.
Headcount focuses on getting Gen Z to vote, but also reaches out to other potential voters regardless of age or political ideology.
We kind of try and reach different demographics, so we go to a lot of like Dead & Co concerts where you have like less of that kind of Gen Z crowd.
So far in 2022, Headcount has registered 150,000 voters, the most voters they've registered in a midterm year.
Being on the ground talking to people, we find that like people are really frustrated with a lot of federal policies. They're frustrated with the status quo and really don't see themselves reflected in government, so are really motivated to get out there to see their values reflected.
Longtime voter Lee Grady emphasized the importance for the youth to go out and vote on Election Day, November 8th.
Young people make such an impact. If you don't vote, you can't complain. It's our civic duty. You can't complain if you're not part of the process.
Headcount will be in Jacksonville, Florida Friday to continue registering voters at the Greta Van Fleet concert. I'm Lydia Delgado in Washington, D.C. for the South Florida Media Network.
Never before seen police body camera footage shows the arrest of people who officers say were voting legally in Florida. The video is from the Tampa area. Speaking through her attorney, one of the convicted felons says she served her time and was issued a new voter card. The lawyer says she believed her voting right had been restored. She has pleaded not guilty over the summer. Governor DeSantis announced the arrest of 20 people accused of illegally voting in the 2020 election.
An arrest in Florida is potentially a big development in a gruesome quadruple murder. A police is calling a man who was picked up in Daytona Beach yesterday a person of interest in the death and mutilation of 4 men near Tulsa. So far, the 67-year-old Joe Kennedy's charges are unrelated to the crimes in Oklahoma.
A devastating reality this morning for Florida's farmers after a preliminary analysis shows a loss of nearly $2 billion in assets to Hurricane Ian. The massive Category 4 storm struck near Fort Myers last month, and yesterday the University of Florida released an analysis which only begins to account for the total loss of crops, livestock, and farmer equipment across the state.
This morning, the evidence of a fatal flight is no longer in the backyard of a Miramar home. Crews with a crane came in yesterday and lifted the small plane off the roof of the home near North Perry Airport. Family and friends are in mourning over the passing of the pilot instructor and students who were on board and died on Monday. Investigators believe the aircraft was leaking fuel before it went down.
Excitement in South Florida sports with opening night for not one but 2 local teams.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Students have a chance to win up to $15,000. We've partnered with the PepsiCo Foundation.
A government agency that thinks globally is acting locally here in South Florida, including doing some hiring. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
You really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now hiring, a global agency is in South Florida this morning looking to give students an employment opportunity. USAID is a federal government agency that leads in international development and global humanitarian assistance, and they're here at FIU to give Panthers work and internship opportunities.
So today is the second day of the 3-day conference, and yesterday we actually introduced the audience, both students and faculty, to USAID, who we are, what we do, and our mission, inviting them to learn more about USAID and the life-changing work that we do.
I have a panel that's talking about real talk, right? So what's the day-to-day? What are some of those myths that people think when they're trying to get into a job in the federal government, so that they're not scared to take that step?
Not only will USAID continue to host online events for the remainder of today, tomorrow they will actually host an event here at the ballrooms at Biscayne Bay, which will be a conference and career expo.
We're going to be announcing the winners of our first ever case competition. Students have a chance to win up to $15,000. We've partnered with the PepsiCo Foundation. Also tomorrow we'll actually have networking sessions where students will get to mingle with our HR team and other members of our staff.
There's so many high-level, really important people at this conference that are there. They want to talk to students. They want to understand how students are approaching international development and then provide those opportunities for them to get involved.
One of the exciting things that students will get to learn is about our Donald M. Payne Fellowship, which is a fellowship that actually pays for students' graduate degrees.
So we're really encouraging people to apply. You may not get a position with USAID, but they have positions all over the federal government. And so we really want to encourage everyone, no matter your background, to attend, because there is a place for you at USAID, and we want to show you that place.
If you are interested in attending, you can register on their website. Make sure to use your organizational email address, and once you've signed in, you can RSVP to any events you would like to attend.
Home openers for 2 of South Florida's top sports teams are tonight. The Miami Heat will open 2022-2023 season at home against the Chicago Bulls. Although the Florida Panthers have already started their season with 3 good road games, their first home game is the season against the Philadelphia Flyers is tonight. The Cats play in Sunrise at the FLA Live Arena for the Heat. It's downtown in the FTX Arena. Both games are scheduled to start at 7:30 p.m.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Nicole Castañeda. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.